Hey, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and I'm so excited for today's show. Super fun, super easy project. Who doesn't need a cool apron for Labor Day weekend? I don't know. We got Jennifer in the house, and so everyone pop in, say hi. The internet's acting a little strange today, so if it pauses, it's out of our hands. I don't know if it was a storm yesterday or what, but I'm full disclosure there. So let's bring Jennifer up. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Oh, so great to see you. And I'm so excited for today's project. It's just in time for the weekend.
Yes, just in time for all of those barbecues.
So I kind of gave a little bit of a hint, but what you have is so cute.
Yes. So today I'm going to be taking you into Canvas Workspace, which is the free program to work with our ScanNCuts. And we have a really cute apron project for the barbecues this weekend. So you'll have kids at your barbecue and dads at the barbecue or moms at the barbecue. And we are going to do some aprons for our chefs this weekend. So we have a apron for the big chef. And then, of course, little chef wants an apron too. So we're going to do a little matching apron for the little chefs in our families.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Jennifer, I love this.
They are super cute. So it's a free project in Canvas Workspace, and I'm going to walk you through how to do it.
Awesome. So Canvas Workspace, you're going to be using the ScanNCut. What model ScanNCut are you going to be using today?
I am going to be using the ScanNCut SDX325.
Awesome. All right. So all of you that have the ScanNCut, I know some people in the last show said, I haven't even taken it out of the box. This is going to be a great opportunity and a free project.
Yes, because we're going to cut, I'm going to show you how to cut fabric. We're going to cut heat transfer vinyl, and we're going to cut regular vinyl. So I'm going to show you how to cut all three of those and some cute little techniques to use to make up these aprons.
Awesome. So do you want to start? Just tell them what supplies they're going to need.
So supplies, you're going to need aprons. Now you can make your own apron, or you can go to the craft store and purchase pre-made apron blanks. They come in adult sizes and kid sizes. You can get them individually, or I know that there's packages, multiples in a package. You're going to need some heat transfer vinyl. You need some fabric for the little hand part of the apron of your design. Heat transfer vinyl, and then some regular adhesive vinyl. So I'm going to use Brothers adhesive vinyl, any color for that. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you a technique to use that for a stencil. And then we're going to use Brother heat transfer vinyl. And I am going to use the Brother, it is called Iron-On Fabric Contact Sheet. It is Brother's version of a fusible webbing for the back of any kind of applique. So I actually have my fabrics prepped with this on the back of it so that I can adhere my fabric to my apron.
That's awesome.
I have some fabric paint, and I have just a sponge brush to apply the fabric paint. You'll also need your sewing machine if you choose to stitch down your fabric. I have chosen a blanket stitch, and I stitched around the hand. You could use a satin stitch. You could just do a straight stitch around it, or you could choose not to stitch around it, but I kind of like putting the little bit of a blanket stitch. Any sewing machine will work to do that. That's the only sewing that's in the project.
That is so
of course,
cute.
Unless you make your apron.
Yeah, well, that's a bonus too. Arnell, we are on, I forgot to mention, we are on Brother Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages. So Arnell, if you want to be on the Facebook side, just pop over to the Brother Crafts side. Okay.
Okay.
We're ready, Jennifer. This is very exciting.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Canvas Workspace. Canvas Workspace is, again, the free design program that you get with your ScanNCut. It is a web-based program, canvasworkspace.com, but there is a downloadable version, and I'm going to be working on the downloadable version today. So I'm going to go into my Canvas Workspace. Can you see that okay, Angela?
Yeah, we can see it great.
All right, so this is the home screen of my workspace. And right up here, I'm going to go, there's a little, looks like a book with a leaf. That's going to be the pattern collection. So Canvas Workspace has free patterns that are free to use. They are added to on a monthly basis. I think it's monthly, it could be weekly. I just know there's tons and tons of free designs and inspiration in there. So here is my Canvas project collection. As you can see, there's lots of different options. Up here in the search, I'm going to type in apron.
I think I'll bring it like this. They can see it better. Sorry. I was just making sure.
All right. So we've come up with our project. There you can see is our project. So I'm just going to open it. Now, when you open the projects here, there are multiple items on the page. You get the picture of the big project. Right here, you're going to get the different elements of the design. You can watch a video.
Jennifer, I don't know if we're just seeing your main screen. Is there anything up on there?
Yeah.
I mean, like we see the screen with Canvas Workspace, but we're not seeing your project come up.
That's strange.
Yeah, so maybe share.
Maybe I should stop share and share again.
Yeah, and just make sure you're sharing the whole application. Otherwise, it won't go to the next screen.
Okay. So I'm going to stop share.
I know. Everybody's like, they're loving this anyways. So, oh, I know. You found us on Facebook.
I'll learn a little bit, right? Okay. Share screen. Probably entire screen then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That way. Right. I thought, I don't see anything coming up, but I do see Canvas Workspace.
So do you see it now?
Click share. Nothing popped up yet. I think you might have one more button to click for it to come to my side.
The browser can't access your screen. Okay. Share. Share. Yes? No. I don't have another button.
Everybody loves the live shows because
difficulties. I am sorry. Okay, share. Okay.
Everybody's saying, ooh, aprons are so much fun. Don't worry, Jennifer. They're totally having a conversation without you right now.
Oh, sorry. Can you see anything?
No?
That's really weird. All right. The browser? It's telling me it can't see my screen. Okay, I'm hitting share screen, window, Canvas project.
Sometimes it'll give you like 3 different options on share a screen. Like it'll say
entire screen, window, or Chrome tab.
Yeah, try entire screen or window probably. And it should show you an option.
Window. I'm choosing Canvas project and I'm hitting share.
Yep.
So do you have it?
Nope.
Ay, ay, ay. I am so sorry.
Do you have Canvas Workspace? You're using the download version, right? You can
let me just, that's a good idea. Let's just go to we'll go to the web-based version. We can do the same thing.
And just use the right browser. Otherwise, it won't recognize it.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying, I want an apron. All right, everyone, hold tight. We've got the apron coming, but you got to see the part of the ScanNCut. It's not your fault. You know how the lives go. Yeah. We actually just went through this entire thing, and it was super cute. So I'm not sure. It's the internet gremlins. Oh, I do remember when we did the sew along on the apron. I think that was actually on Brother's page. So if you go back through their videos, we made an entire apron for like a whole month during COVID lockdown. Thanks, Esther, for remembering that.
Okay, now I'm going to share my tab.
Yay, I see something coming.
Is it there?
Yep.
All right. All right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Make it work. Anyway, so this is the web-based platform. And again, I've got my Canvas projects here. I'm going to type in apron. We're back on track.
We're back on track.
So here is our apron. So I'm going to click on there. And when we open it up, we have multiple items in the screen. Here's the picture of the completed project. Very cute. We get the different elements of our design to download into Workspace. There is a video that you can watch of making the project. And then you have a PDF recipe. So if you wanted to print out all the instructions to make the project, you can open that and print that. And then there's a zip file if you wanted to download everything to your computer and save it for later. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these parts on my mat, and all I have to do is just click the little download. And actually, in the web-based, I'm going to go ahead and just transfer the hats to my ScanNCut. So I'm going to do that wirelessly. My ScanNCut is on. ScanNCut is ready. I'm just used to the other one now, so so we're going to go there. I'm going to put it on the mat, and then I'm going to export it. So there's our hats, and I'm going to go to download to my ScanNCut. And now I'm going to go over to my ScanNCut. So now I have to change my camera for you.
And we can see it great, Jennifer.
And I'm going to try to do this without bumping the camera. I'm going to go to retrieve data. And I'm going to go to the wireless. There's my hats. Can you see that?
We can.
All right. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to save that to my machine. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go back to my Canvas workspace, and I like to transfer all my parts at once, and that way I don't have to do so much back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead, go back to Canvas workspace.
All right, I'll bring that up for you. There you go.
Go back to go back home, pull up my project again. I'm going to go ahead and hit the faces. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to download right to my ScanNCut. And I'm going to go back to my ScanNCut. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go, I already saved it, so it's okay to delete. Back to retrieve. Back to the wireless. There's my faces. I'm going to hit save to my machine. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go to Canvas Workspace one more time and grab the last part of my design. So I'm going to go back home. Oops. Back. Download to my ScanNCut. And then back to the ScanNCut. Go home, and I'm going to grab that last file. And save it to my machine. Okay, so all the parts in the Canvas Workspace pattern have been added to my ScanNCut, but did you notice that there's no hand?
Yes, there's no hand.
There's no hand in the project. So the way we do the hand is we trace that. I forgot to say at the beginning that you'll need a pen and a piece of paper to trace your hand. But let me go to my other camera and I'll show you my hand. So I have my hand traced and I'm going to hit the camera. Is that okay?
Yeah, we can see it. That's so cute.
So here's my hand, and I actually have it traced on just a piece of copy paper. And I've got my scanning mat here. I like to use the scanning mat. If you don't have the scanning mat for your ScanNCut, it's not required for this project. You can always put your paper on the low tack mat and scan it on the low tack mat into the ScanNCut. But I like to use the scanning mat, and I'm going to put my paper underneath the plastic top sheet. And then I'm going to take this over to the ScanNCut. So I'm going to try to easily do this, switch the camera really quick without bumping everything. So I'm going to show you that we're going to take the scanning mat. It loads into our machine just like our regular mats. I'm going to load it in and hit the load button. And because I have a design, I'm going to go to the home screen. So now I'm going to scan this, and I'm going to try to get the screen here so you can see. I am going to go into Scan. And because we want to turn our hand into a file that we can cut, I'm going to go to Scan to cut data. And I'm going to go ahead and tell my ScanNCut to scan. So that is the great part about the ScanNCut is we can draw anything, we can use any pattern we want and scan it right into the ScanNCut and turn it into a design file that we can use. So there's my hand right on the screen. Because I just want the outline of the hand, I'm going to choose this first button here. That tells the machine I just want the outline. And then I'm going to use these arrows and I'm going to crop as close as I can just to tell the ScanNCut that I wanted them to focus. I want it to focus on the hand, not any kind of other little marks that might be on my paper. And I'm going to hit preview. That looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to save that to the machine. And I'm going to hit OK. So now we have all the components of our design saved into our ScanNCut. So I'm going to go home and hit OK. And I'm going to remove the scanning mat from the machine. So we are done with that part. Are there any questions, Angela?
Actually, everybody's quiet. I think they're all just, everybody's just watching away. And this is a great tutorial, Jennifer. You've explained every step too. So by the way, if you guys have questions, be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll make sure I bring them up.
I want to make sure I answer everybody's questions. So now I'm going to go over to my other camera. And I'm going to come in here. And I have, like I said, I have my fabric. I've just ironed my fabric and then I've put the Brother iron-on fusible contact sheet on the back. And I like this because it's not super sticky. And so on my mat here, I have my fabrics already put on the mat. And I have an extra piece of fabric here. I was thinking of cutting the hat out of this fabric instead of using heat transfer vinyl. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the hands. So I've got my fabric down, and with the Brother fusible, I can actually put the fusible side against my mat because it's not super sticky. If you were using a stickier fusible web, you may want to put the fabric side down. But I like this because I can actually put the fusible down. I use my brayer and I just make sure it's nice and adhered. I've got a piece for my small hand and a piece for my large hand. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it back to my ScanNCut. So I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to load my mat into the ScanNCut with the load button. Now I'm using the standard mat, which is the purple mat, and I am actually using the standard auto blade, which is the blade with the black top. That is the blade that you'll use if you're using fabric with a fusible product on it. It just loads and locks into place. I'm going to go into retrieve data, and I'm going to go to my machine, and I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, which is where I know I've saved my designs. Here's my hand. I'm going to bring that up and touch OK. Now, I want two hands. I want the hand for my adult apron, and I want a hand for the child apron. So I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to touch edit, and I'm going to touch object edit. And since I want two hands, I'm going to come up here. The second icon up here is going to tell the machine how many of that design I want to cut. So since I want two hands, I'm going to, of course, put in 2 and touch OK. And now I have two hands, and I can select between the two of them. But I want to take the second one and I want to make it smaller for the small apron. So this first button up here is our size. Now I can size it proportionally using the plus and minus keys, or I can go to percentage and I can size it by %. So I'm going to go ahead and use the percentage, and I'm going to size it down to 75% and touch OK. And touch OK once more, and OK once more. So now I have my two hands on the screen. And the other part, because we have a ScanNCut, it didn't really matter where I put the fabrics on the mat, because I'm going to touch the scanner here, and I'm going to have the ScanNCut scan my mat for me so that I can see my fabrics.
So quiet.
Very quiet. And I set my stylus down somewhere. There it is. So now you can see, I hope you can see the fabrics on the mat. And I can go ahead and I can move my hands over those.
Hey, Jennifer, could you bring us on your other camera that's a little bit closer to that screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't zoom in. I need to zoom in.
There you go. Yay, yay. Perfect. Now we can see.
I know it's kind of hard to see, but.
It's perfect now. Thanks.
Okay. So we have our smaller hand and our larger hand. And I'm actually going to go into edit and use my arrows so that I can adjust it a little better. And once I have it where I want, I'm going to touch OK. OK, and OK one more time. Now, even though the fabrics have disappeared on our screen, I haven't moved anything. The ScanNCut hasn't moved our designs. I'm going to touch Please Select, and I'm going to go to Cut. Now I'm at the cut screen. Now, on my cut screen, I am noticing that the last thing I cut was vinyl because I have my half cut setting on. Half cut on our ScanNCut tells the machine not to cut all the way through the media that we're cutting. But since I'm cutting fabric and I do want it to cut all the way through, all I have to do is go into Tools and scroll down to page 2 where my half cut is and turn half cut off. I'm going to touch OK. Now my half cut setting is off. Now I could do a test cut, but our ScanNCut has an automatic blade on it. So it will actually take a measurement of the thickness of my mat, and then it will go over the media that I'm cutting, in this case, the fabric with the fusible on it, and it will take another measurement, and then between the two measurements, it will calculate how deep it needs to cut all the way through. So I am going to trust, even though we're on camera, I'm going to trust my ScanNCut to cut all the way through my fabric, and I'm just going to hit start. Now, when it starts cutting, I want you to notice also how quiet it is.
Super quiet. I see some people rolling in a little bit late. So, hey, no worries. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can watch it again. Share it to your page. Click share. Share it to your page. You can go back and watch from the beginning step by step as you make your fabulous aprons. And also, if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. You can also save this to watch later, which is a great way to do that. And Jennifer, it looks like you got ESP. You're answering the questions before they've even typed them in, Doris says.
Well, that's good. That covers for my technical difficulties earlier, right? So this is almost done.
Everybody's saying this is going to be so cute. I like that other fabric you picked out too. That little black and white check.
Yes, it's very cute. Now it's going to cut the second hand.
Esther said she likes your tip about loading everything before you go start working on the cutting mat.
Yeah, because then you don't have to go back and forth. Then once you're at your ScanNCut, you have everything you need right at your ScanNCut.
Get it all done. Michelle wants to know, did you slow the speed down?
I did slow the speed down.
There you go, Michelle. Did you do it on purpose or just for the live show?
I think I did it on purpose and didn't remember that I did it. I think I was probably cutting something a little thicker and didn't want to go, or actually I was probably cutting something more intricate and I didn't want it to move around really fast.
That was a really good observant, Michelle. I didn't even notice that, but I forgot that you can actually do that. So if you're working on something really intricate, it's a great idea.
So I've got my pieces cut for my hand, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK and unload my mat. And then I'm like to remove, I'm going to take it over to the other camera so you can see. I'm not used to having the two nice cameras. As long as I don't run into them. So I'm going to go ahead and I like to remove the outside fabric first. And then I'll go ahead and just grab the main piece. So there we have our hand for our larger apron. And then I just realized that I was all prepped for my live here, and when I put this one down, I left the paper on it. But that's okay. I still have the sticky. Just because I'm an educator doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. So we have our little hand. So our hands are cut. Now I did not cut the black and white fabric, but I am going to show you what that looks like. Because I do have one cut. So now we're going to go on and cut our hats. So I have another standard mat. Apologize for the noise. And I have a piece of the Brother heat transfer vinyl. I really like glitter vinyl. I like anything that sparkles. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on my mat. Again, because we have a scanner, we don't really need to worry about where it is on our mat. And then I have a piece of the Brother regular adhesive vinyl. This is not heat transfer vinyl. This is vinyl you would use if you were putting it on a cup or a window or the wall or something like that. It is just regular adhesive vinyl. So I'm actually going to put that on the same mat. And then I'm going to go back to my ScanNCut. And I'm going to load that mat into the machine. And I'm going to go home because I'm done with the hands. And I'm going to go to retrieve data from my machine. Again, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom page. And I'm going to grab my hats and touch OK. And then I'm going to go to add, and I'm going to go get my little faces. And I'm going to go to retrieve data from the machine. There's my faces. Sorry. Move them down here. And now I'm going to touch the scanning button and scan my mat so that I can see where my vinyl is. Now I can see my vinyl. It is a little dark. Let me zoom in so that you can see. So I'm going to go here to my tools, and I can lighten the background of my screen So now I can see my designs as well as the shadow of the vinyl that's on the mat. So I'm going to move my designs into place. I'm going to go in and use my arrows a little bit. And when you select, you'll get a red box around the design, so you know that's the design you're working on. Move this one. He's a little close here. And when I have it looking good, I'm going to hit OK. And OK. I'm going to touch Please Select and hit Cut. Now this time I am working with vinyl, so I don't want it to cut all the way through. So I'm going to go to my tools and I'm going to turn that half cut setting on and touch OK and touch Start. So do we have any questions yet?
No questions, just a couple cute comments about how fabulous your nails look and how cute your hands turned out.
I did my nails last night. I thought that it was a good color for brother.
It matches perfectly. All right, you guys have any questions for Jennifer? Bring them up. I can see your comments and questions in YouTube and Facebook, and we'd love to hear from you. Jennifer.
Yes.
Arnell wanted to know, I know you can't say like exact places, or maybe it wasn't Arnell, might have been Shirley. When you bought your aprons, I know it's not a brother product. Did you just do an internet search for those or go to your local craft store?
You can get it. You can do an internet search, or I just went to the local craft store.
Okay.
Or your local fabric store.
Or you can make your own.
Or you can make your own. If you were feeling very ambitious, you could make your own and then decorate it.
I love that.
So after I finish cutting these, the next step would be kind of the same process. The words take a while to cut out because there's two sets of aprons, but it would be the same process. You're going to put your heat transfer vinyl shiny side down, because that's where the carrier sheet is, onto your mat. And then you're going to bring up your design, scan it in, place your design, and then you're going to cut. I do have a hint I will show you on that vinyl, though, once this is finished.
Hey, Doris wants to know, are you using the vinyl blade right now?
I am just using the standard auto blade that comes with the machine. You could use the vinyl blade, but because my pieces aren't real intricate, I didn't feel that I needed to put the actual vinyl blade in. So I'm going to touch OK and unload my mat.
Marcia has a question for you. Were those, both of those vinyls, were they different thicknesses?
Yes. So one is the heat transfer vinyl. This red one is the heat transfer vinyl. And then the blue is just our, and it looks like it's going to show me up and actually cut through, even though we turned the half cut on. See, I should have done a test cut. But that's okay, because we're going to use this as a, I wonder why it did that. We're going to use it as a stencil, so that's okay. So let me show you my tip on the white vinyl. So we're going to use white for the words, right? So white is really hard to see, especially when you scan. So my tip when I'm using a white vinyl or something that might be hard to see on the screen and I really want to make sure I place it correctly is I just take a permanent marker and mark just the little corners and edges. So then when it scans into the machine, I'm going to go ahead and load it here and show you what it looks like when you scan it. I can actually see the edges. I'll show you how to bring it up. Find our design, and then I'm going to scan it. And when I do that, I'll be able to see the edges of my design or the edges of my vinyl. So if we go in and I go to Object Edit, and actually go back, I can go to the magnifying glass. Can you see on the screen? I don't know how clear it is on the screen.
We can see pretty good on there.
Let's see if I can. If I move this down, do you see I have my little marks from my permanent marker?
It's just a little bit out of focus there.
Ooh, what's it doing?
It's having a moment.
It's having a moment.
There we go. Now we can see.
Okay. So I've got the little marks here on the screen. So I know that I need to move this over so it's away from that mark. So that's my hint when you're using a white fabric or white vinyl. That way you can see it on the map.
Everybody says you're brilliant on that one.
Well, it just makes things easier. All right. So, want to see how to put this all together.
Everybody's saying brilliant idea on the white, definitely.
Yes, because it's, I don't know about you, but my eyes are not that great.
I'm with you. I've got my cheaters right here.
So I'm going to go back to my other camera and have a little apron here. It's the same process for both aprons, but because we're on camera, I have more room to show you the small apron. So my first step would be to position my hand. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
I would position my hand and I would use my iron and press that on wherever I felt that I wanted it to be. Once I press it on and it's in position, then I would do my stitching if I wanted to. Again, it's completely up to you if you want to stitch that down. If you think that this is probably not going to be washed all that often, if it's just for like, maybe you're just making it for, you know, playing dress up, so it doesn't need to be washed, you might not want to do stitching. That's all up to you. But once you have it down and set the way you want it, then you're going to go ahead. And this one, I did use the checkered fabric. So I've stitched all the way around my hand with my blanket stitch. I did that first. And then I positioned my little hat and that had the fusible on the back of it as well. And so I ironed it down, and then I did a little blanket stitch around the hat. And then I cut out my little chef wording out of the heat transfer vinyl. One tip when you're doing the heat transfer vinyl, now when you send it over from Canvas, it is already mirror imaged. But a handy tip when you are doing anything that you may have designed or bought a design and it's not mirror imaged, if you are using heat transfer vinyl, you want to make sure to mirror image your vinyl or mirror image your design, because when you turn it over and iron it to your piece, your words are going to be backwards. Don't mirror image it. So if you can read backwards, that's great. I'm not real good at reading backwards. So now I have my apron all set, and the last step is to put the little face on the design. So here is this is my regular Brother adhesive vinyl, and all I did was I weeded it so that I actually see the face. I'm going to use this as a stencil. So I'm going to position this on my hand. And then I have some fabric paint. Now you could use heat transfer vinyl and just cut the face out and actually press the vinyl as your face. So you could just cut the eyes and the mouth and put them in position. Or you can use paint, or you can use a marker, or you can draw it, or you can leave it blank, however you like it. But I kind of like sparkle. I told you that already. So I've got some sparkle paint here. And all you do is just use your vinyl as your template.
That's such a great idea, Jennifer.
And then once it dries, you just pull the vinyl off and you've got your little face, which is the one that I had done. This one already has the little face.
I could not figure out what you had on that face when you held that first one up. I was like, what is that? Stitching? Is it? It's paint. How easy is that?
It's glitter paint. So I just put it on there. I'm going to let that dry. And then all you do is peel the adhesive vinyl off, because it's not going to it's not a permanent adhesive vinyl. So I just pull it off, and then I've got my little face on my apron.
Oh my gosh, what an easy, fun project. I'm watching all the comments coming through. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I so agree.
All right, I'm going to come back so you can see me now.
All right, great project, great project. Let's see any comments. You guys have any last minute questions? Everyone says that this is such a fun, cute project.
It is really a cute project. So the larger apron, I'm going to actually make my husband wear this weekend.
I think this is something I could actually finish. I should send one of these to each one of my siblings because they all grow out.
It's a super fast, quick project, especially if you're using just an apron blank.
Mm-hmm. I actually have a couple aprons here. Yeah, good idea. I was just thinking, wait a minute. I just finished unpacking a box. I have some aprons. I do want nothing to do with them. Now I have a project. So do you guys have any last minute questions for Jennifer? Because this was such a great project. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning.
Cindy King hit it right on the head. She said, you know what? That's the best part of the live shows. Something's going to happen somewhere.
It just proves that we're human.
It absolutely does. We're just happy the internet works today.
But we make mistakes too.
So even if you're watching the replay, if you have questions, drop them in. Brother Social is always on it and answering your questions. Jennifer, this was a great project. I cannot wait for that's this weekend.
It's this weekend, yes. So go make your aprons.
Awesome. Well, thank you for a great project, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Thank you. Don't forget, look above when you share your projects on social, use hashtag Brother Sews and hashtag Brother Scan and Cut. We always love to see what you're working on. And this one's going to be a good one. I'm going to have to partake in this one, Jennifer.
Good, good. I'm so happy.
All right, everyone. Thank you again. Thank you, Jennifer. Everyone,
Bye.
see you Thursday. Bye.